Dateline, December 6, 2019, and it is the single malt review with the Secret Spirits Whiskey Advent Calendar.
Yes, and this time I'm going in. Waste no time, Dave.
Yep, Tim is donning the hat of mystery while I extract today's dram.
Bring me my quarry. Feeling good about this one. After getting completely destroyed by the last pick, what we discovered with some further research was a devilishly teaspooned Balvenie. Teaspooned, I suppose, well enough with Glenfiddich, its sister distillery. Now, how's that coming?
Whoa, got it.
All right, I think that's record time.
Yes.
We're getting better and better at getting those bottles out of there.
So I'm going to take a moment to read the literature here because this is
That's a
something...
hint. That's a hint in itself. So what you're telling me is this is something completely mind-bogglingly weird.
Then again, we've had a few of those already, so if that's the case, I'm not saying it is. Well, okay, I will pour a couple up.
Well, here I can walk into the valley of obscurity. I shouldn't have been so confident going in. I thought Dave was getting the hard ones as we begun, but now the tables have turned. But got to maintain the positive attitude. I've got an entire 2 minutes to uncover the secrets of this one.
In fact, I'll just cover this in their tankard of obfuscation. Obtain the timepiece. There we go. Insert into your hands.
There we go.
There we go. Alrighty, and I'll find the. Oh goodness. Trying to find the stopwatch on your phone.
Oh, never mind. Just give me a mental 2 minutes.
Okay, let's start.
Right. Okay, well, this is a very gentle nose. This is very spirit-driven nose. It is a very strong nose. There is some very alcoholic fumes coming out of here. So all of that leans me in the direction of, for my first point, I'd have to say malt whiskey. I don't think this is a... If it's a blend, then it's blended malt, so that's still my pick. I do not think there is... Or if there is grain in here, it's well hidden underneath that, what is, I think, very, very young, very youthful spirit in here.
I just took a sip and I was somewhat taken aback.
I'm not sure there's much else I can glean from the nose. That's very, very... Not to call it neutral, but it is very youthful and it is very, very spirit-driven. There's almost no cask element in here whatsoever, which is going to make this a tasting nightmare.
Coming up on 1 minute.
That said...
Yeah, the flavour is quite at odds to the nose, I found. There's a stark contrast there.
Nose, very retiring. Flavour, full on.
Full on, right up. All kinds of different nuances happening.
I think it's still quite strong. It's definitely about 46%. Can you give me a little bit of water?
Sure. Oh, and what I deem an appropriate amount of water based on its strength.
Oh, see, now I could listen to them tipping it in and I'd know. It would be revealed. See, it's all about the little ways to cheat here. Okay, alright, that brings it a bit more out. I don't have much time left.
I'd say about, let's give it another 10 seconds.
Okay, alright. Okay. I'll take the head off so my face can breathe while I do the pick here. I am fairly sure that is at the very least malt whiskey. If not cask strength, it's fairly high because that's giving me a good old soothing the passages there as it makes its way down. Pretty warming old dram. So I think that is, if not 50, then maybe even 60. I'm saying high 50s for the strength. Not that we get scored on that, but region, it's one of three. I'm getting Speyside Highland. There's a chance it's an I was about to say unpeated. No, that's nonsense. Coalesce my thoughts here. No, I was not cheating. I was
We're to about the third minute, so...
Okay, it's malt whiskey. It's based out of Highlands. I feel I'm going back to the well by going Speyside. I've got this niggling sensation. I'm not even going to say it because it would be embarrassing, but because there's a few distilleries which, not fake Speyside, but they make a Speyside kind of a dram, but... No, I won't muddy the waters. Okay, I think that is, single malt, I think it's Speyside. I think the distillery is somewhere around the region of, let's say... I've got almost nothing. No, lay it on me.
In
what have we got?
A calendar that's been hallmarked by outliers and oddities, this is one of the most curious we've had so far. Have a read. Tell lucky viewers at home what you have been trying.
I'm trying a Dream to Dram single malt Scotch whisky by Kingsbarn Distillery, Lowland.
It is a Weems bottling. Have a look at those casks.
So, cask type bourbon and Portuguese wine.
Yeah.
I think more commonly known as port.
I don't think so. This is probably, I'm assuming, actual wine casks. If they were port casks, they would tell us, surely.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, that's why this is so odd. And Weems always just pick the most peculiar, unique flavour profiles. Distillery.
Yeah. Why don't you have a... no, I'll have a quick look up on Kingsbarns while you run us down the tasting notes here.
Yes, we're in the Lowlands. I believe it's our first trip to the Lowlands on this calendar, unless I'm mistaken.
No, we had Octosh.
We did indeed.
The first one.
So, yes, bourbon casks, but also Portuguese wine casks. It's a Weems malt, so it is called Dream to Dram. In their curious naming schemes that they do. No particular age statement offered, probably because it's got a range of different casks involved with different ages. And so, and 46% ABV. It is interesting that you got a very strong alcohol note off that. Possibly there's some young, very active spirit there. There's not a super strong
only 46.
Yeah.
So I think this is and I'm honing in on Kingsbarn here, but I think this is going to be an intrinsically young whiskey because yes, indeed, their first anniversary was on November 2015.
Wow.
So there is no old Kingsbarn spirit in the world.
So this is extremely young whiskey. Well, I guess wine casks do give you alarming maturation in a very short time, so that would add some of the quite extraordinary and unique character to this that we've tried.
Yeah. This is quite remarkable. This is a new distillery, and there's more new distilleries out there than you think.
Yeah, I try to keep track, but this is a new one to me.
Yeah, the whiskey boom being what it is, there are distilleries popping up everywhere, but most of them are not quite old enough yet to produce whiskey. Right. This one is obviously, this could even be their first release.
And Weems have gotten obviously early to pick something truly noteworthy and truly off the beaten whiskey track.
This is fascinating to see. So this is the first time either of us, and probably the majority of people in the world, have ever tasted anything from Kingsbarn Distillery. It's something that's going to happen more and more because as these distilleries come online, they're going to start rearing their heads as 5-year-olds, 6-year-olds, and tick over as time goes on. But there is going to be a lot of this in the very near future, this young whiskey, because especially in the Lowland, has been one of the more popular areas. This cannot be far away from Daft Mill, which was it's a much smaller scale than I think this one. It's a much more sort of craft distillery. They have released whiskey as well now for an astonishing amount of money, considering it's all of 3 years old. But starting out as they mean to continue, I suppose. This one can't be a heck of a lot older. I suppose you could do some fairly easy arithmetic and work out what its peak age could possibly be based on the building of the distillery itself, but we are certainly dealing with something that's not over 4 years old would be the max this could be. And considering that, it's no surprise that this comes off as spirit driven, because what else could it possibly do? Secondly, this is surprisingly good for mega young whiskey.
I'm going to attribute that at least in part to the use of wine casks, which just imparts so much flavour in a short space of time. Hence why you don't often see extremely old wine cask matured whiskey, but it works well for finishes or for, in this case, a very young whiskey overall.
So that is that's like an impossibly hard one. Yeah. So Thanks for that, calendar. But otherwise, it's really fascinating to try because, yeah, to end up tasting a completely new distillery and not even know what you're tasting, that's unusual. That's very unusual. And to see one like this, Lowlands as well, and active casks, I'm not sure, because the spirit here, obviously uncoloured, because this is very, very, very clear. This could be a bottle of sort of Simeon almost. It's not mature whiskey by any means, but it's ready. It is very, very drinkable, and it's very, very enjoyable. I'd love to know what their distillation practice was, because this isn't quite as... It doesn't have the, not to call it blank, but it doesn't have quite the sort of really, really lilting purity that a triple distilled like Auchentoshan typically does. So I wonder if they are a Lowland that double distills in the Highland, well, in the rest of Scotland style. I'm not sure, I'd have to check that. But yeah, really, really, really fascinating to see, even if it does make my job as taste detective that much harder. I think I'll give them the benefit of the doubt this time, because this is pretty tremendous. Imagine if you sort of go in the mental time machine, put this whiskey on ice for 12 years, how flavourful would this whiskey be? If it can do this in 3 to 4, imagine something 3 to 4 times more than what this is, and that's a hell of a
We've tried some extremely young Scots whiskey, barely over 3 years old, and it has at times been disappointing because it just lacks maturity. This does not.
This, I think, whatever they've done it right, because we've seen other ultra young versions, even versions so young that they can't be called whiskey, namely the AD releases from the Adelphi distillery in Ardnamurchan, or rather the Ardnamurchan distillery by Adelphi. And those are very good, but then on the other hand, we tried one of the very first releases from Wolfburn, which was aged in, I think it was Lefroy casks, and it was just completely bullied by the Lefroy, and had just not enough. It's a intrinsic character was very much wanting. This one is not. Far too early for me to say I've developed a profile for this one, and I'll see future ones from this distillery coming, but it's definitely coming out strong. So that's really interesting to see. And like I say, this will become a more and more common thing as the Rose Isla and other type distilleries sort of begin to get 3 years old and older. We will see this more and more and more, because they will be running hot, those ones. The price of whiskey these days, they will be cranking it out as fast as they possibly can. So watch this space for more of this. And watch this space for us in about 24 hours' time. We will be in hot pursuit of another whiskey with Dave in the tasting hot seat. We will see what number 7, I suppose it is, day 7, is going to have in store for us. Slanger, we'll be right back.